The most effective way is by asking yourself, or by the way, the other people involved in the conversation, some very purposeful questions. You see, when you want to chunk up, this would indicate you want to displace resistance, eliminate objections, or place them in a light trance. The questions that you can ask them to accomplish this would be ones that focus them on the bigger picture. Questions like, for what purpose, or what is your intention, and what is that an example of, and what does that do for you? All of these questions will chunk the client up to a higher level of abstraction. If you want to chunk the client down, that would indicate that you want to become more specific and get into details. The questions you can ask them to accomplish this would be ones that focuses them on the more specific elements that make up the finer details of things. Questions like who specifically, what specifically, where specifically, when specifically, and how specifically. According to whom? All of these questions can bring people out of trance and into specificity, and it does invite the forum for challenge. The benefit of chunking up and chunking down questions is that it gives us very predictable results. If you ask a chunking up question, the client has to chunk up. If you ask a chunking down question, they have to chunk down, which means that your purposeful questioning creates very predictable results. Now, how do you chunk laterally? Well, to do that, we're going to use one chunking up and one chunking down question. This is how it's done. First, you chunk up, usually one level of abstraction higher, and then you chunk down by asking the question, what is another example of this? Which means this is now down to the same level of abstraction we started on, but is one topic over. In many businesses, by the way, when they're faced with a debilitating problem, it's because they've chunked down so far and are buried so far down in the details of the problem that they can't think of a solution. And the best thing for them to do in a situation when faced with a problem like that is to chunk up. When you're faced with a problem in business, you can ask, what is this problem an example of? And you'll end up getting the real high-end level problem. From there, you can then chunk laterally or find other examples of this, which enable you to do very creative problem solving. And that's not only to solve the problems you started out with, but it's actually to solve problems that haven't even happened yet. Problems, when you realize what they are and you solve them, have an enormous impact for the benefit of the company. And it's all done by using the chunking up, chunking down, and chunking lateral questions.